Bitcoin and Ethereum reached all-time highs yesterday as the SEC is set to make a decision on a new Bitcoin ETF. Joining us now, Kavita Gupta, FinTech TV co-founder, founder of the Delta blockchain. The deadline's coming in. It's a real deadline this time for a spot ETF. We have futures ETFs, but there are some pessimists that put the probability or the possibility at zero. Kavita, is there any way, given comments from SEC Chair Gensler about there's no clear delineation of which agencies would control or regulate a spot ETF? With the futures, you have an agency that oversees that. So it's not going to happen, is it? For years, probably.
Hey, Joe. No, I think the part of my job every time I come is like, keep on saying, no, it's not going to happen. I mean, look at the market, right? If that would happen, think about where the inflation is going to go. Already the government is thinking about taking care of inflation by just printing more money, which actually drives more craze for the cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin and ETH. So I really, really doubt with the comments with respect to any regulatory problems that it's ever going to go down to zero.
What is the rationale for not allowing a Bitcoin futures-based short ETF? It doesn't seem logical that if you can have one on one side, that it's almost like they're protecting investors from the possibility of people ganging up on Bitcoin, which maybe they'd be likely to do if they're totally skeptical.
It's always anything which you have in control and you're ready to lose. Nobody's ready to lose the control, and governments have always been like this. We just saw in the future, the day basically the options came out for Bitcoin, it went crazy. Whatever the limit was, it was oversubscribed. And I think that's what's happening. More and more governments are realizing that people are not really valuing or trusting their own currency over Bitcoin. And I think that's one reason I think is the problem. The second reason, I still think there is a sort of a power dynamics going on between CFTC and SEC based on who really governs what, and where do you extend that power to let things happen. And I think the lack of coordination out there is also one of the major problems here.
There have been all these sort of data points that have caused a real bullish move recently to new highs in Bitcoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies. Whether it's we have the new mayor-elect in New York talking positively about it, in Miami vying for the head of being a center of the crypto world. But at the same time, in the infrastructure bill, there's some really bad things for Bitcoin in there. Are people ignoring it, or it doesn't? I guess it doesn't happen until 2024, and things can change. But could you go over some of the provisions in there? And they're pretty. They're not good for the space.
No, they are definitely not good. So first, I want to say a big shout out to the mayor-elect for New York City to be so bold and say New York always does big things and he's going to take his next 3 paychecks into Bitcoin. That's a really big move. Kudos to him. But looking at the infrastructure bill, Joe, and we have talked about this before too, you cannot tax non-custodial wallets. You cannot tax every part of moving. As I said also before, every house has a modem and a router. You cannot tax modem and router to provide Wi-Fi to your house. And this is just one of the top things in the infrastructure bill. You can also just not go after people just within US. So if I'm a US citizen, I'm paying capital gain tax, I'm paying income tax on the non-realized gains coming out of crypto. While if I'm sitting in Portugal or if I'm sitting in Dubai, I don't.
What is up, Cryptocurrency Nation? It's your boy Brit VR. Welcome to the show. As you hear from CNBC, Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin Settle was rejected. I knew this was going to happen. Make sure you guys come over and check out the video that I spoke about the cash settling ETF that went through, and pause it, watch it. Come on back on over here and follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. I do post information as soon as they come out right on these platforms. So if you want to get the information ASAP, be the first to hear about it, follow me on those 2 platforms. So to continue talking about the Bitcoin ETF, why it didn't pass, the SEC said that there was no agency that's going to regulate this. For CBOE, there's different types of agencies for these features, and maybe because they don't fully know the technology of Bitcoin or how to control it within the United States, or they can't control it with outside of the United States. Maybe it's because it's just only a spot for people to buy, not to short the Bitcoin ETF. I have no idea, but inflation is upon us right now. Hopefully we don't hit hyperinflation, and I think the SEC really do not want to let this get out of hand, because if an ETF came out that was Bitcoin settled, that means that FINX was going to have to buy up a whole bunch of Bitcoin. And then to make these trades, other people are going to have to buy up a whole bunch of Bitcoin. The US government really don't want to let this get out of control. We could easily see Bitcoin hit 100K if that happened. But I think currently we're not going to see that. Leave a comment at the bottom to let me know what you guys are thinking. And also, let's go over here to Fox News. They said something about the Bitcoin ETF, and I want to listen to it. I haven't watched it yet, so let's watch it together.
Charles, yes, this is why I'm so passionate about Bitcoin. You know, we are addicted to the money printer in this country. And I think a nation that lives by the money printer runs the risk of dying by it as well. I mean, we used to be the world's biggest creditor nation. We made stuff. Now we're the world's biggest debtor nation. We hardly make anything except debt. And so everything is distorted, Charles. I mean, up is down, inflation is good. Our economy is like an airplane flying without an altimeter because we have no price signals based on real interest rates, and we haven't for a long time. Instead, we have a system where insiders print money and they benefit. They create disproportionate access to capital with low interest rates. And that capital goes where? Into stocks of companies that have no real growth. They just use easy government money to finance debt and buy back shares and create synthetic growth in these market bubbles. They buy up real estate and turn the country into renters. I mean, inflation sucks the life out of workers and savers, and it benefits the asset holders. So all of a sudden, we have this ballooning wealth inequality, and politicians who contributed to the problem, who have no clue about basic economics, saying, hey, I'll come fix it by spending and handing out more easy money. It's like the government cripples you and then hands you a crutch and says, aren't you happy I was here to hand you this crutch, right?
Yeah.
That's why Bitcoin is so great. You can't print more of it. It's programmatically scarce hard money. And as my friend Preston Pysh said very well today, Bitcoin literally feasts on corruption and manipulation, and boy, is the plate full, Charles.
What a passionate statement. Very true. But I want to warn everybody right now. The Federal Reserve is starting to taper. They slow down buying of the stocks on the stock market. They're slowing down buying bonds. And we don't know if they're going to start to dump those assets that they bought on the stock market. And remember, Bitcoin follows the US 30 and the S&P 500. Straight correlation. Now, with the inflation talk, if they raise interest rates very slowly, Bitcoin may fall slowly, but if they raise it very high and fast to like 1% to 2%, we can see the whole ship and all this go down very quickly. If you love this content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and all you guys have a good day, and all you guys have a good night, and enjoy the crypto life. Peace.